crowded, this building is weak, but this congregation remains strong. Some church members collapsed in agony, while others sang praises in the background. The flames just had no respect. Amber Ashton was one of the few people inside when a roof air conditioner apparently went haywire above the sanctuary.
There were sparks coming through the vent.
Like above the pulpit?
And when I walked in, there was also smoke coming out of the vents in the sanctuary part.
Everyone inside fled, but then had to suffer watching the fire burst through the roof.
This is home. It's heart-wrenching, but we're just wondering what God's up to.
As firefighters climbed ladders to fight the flames from above, church members prayed below. Some in small groups, others in a large circle.
We ask, Lord, that you open the coffers of heaven and pour out a rich blessing, that we may rebuild quickly without much problem, Lord.
I imagine we'll doze this one down and rebuild new and bigger. So it's not the plan we had, but it's the plan we're going to be formulating.
As the sun set on this painful day, Higginbotham and his flock have faith tomorrow will bring a brighter day, a new beginning for their church.
I'm glad that it did burn down because we can build a bigger one.
But that rebuilding will take months, and there are Sunday services tomorrow. Tomorrow, a flatbed truck will serve as the pulpit in the parking lot as hundreds gather to sing praises in their time of heartache. And Nancy, the fire department estimates damages here,
That's because they believe in the power of prayer. Good evening. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Kurt Goff.
And I'm Catherine Pritchard. This is News 3 at 5 o'clock. Our top story tonight, a local church burns to the ground. And now one Southeast congregation says faith will raise it from the ashes.
That we may rebuild quickly without much problem, Lord.
Flames shot through the roof of the Grapevine Fellowship Church. The fire apparently started in the air conditioning unit. Over 100 people still showed up for church this morning. Services were held in the parking lot. But today the congregation raised their hands up in faith, promising to rebuild.
So this building is not something that we just toss away. It's a part of our heart. It's a part of our life. It's part of who we are. But Grapevine Fellowship is not a building.
We're going to find another church to worship at for the present time until we rebuild. It's going to be bigger and better.
For now, services will be held at the Calvary Foursquare Gym on North Mojave. The fire caused almost $1 million in damage. Tonight at 6 o'clock, an inspirational story about the church and its members. They sing both in sadness and in hope as a fire ruins their church, but not their faith. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Pritchard.
And I'm Kurt Goff. This is News 3 at 6, where news comes first. Our top story, a real test of faith for a congregation in the southeast part of the city today.
Last night, their church burned to the ground, but today, members are raising their hopes. Karen Brown has their inspirational story.
They come two by two, bringing their own chairs to worship on, their own shade to pray under, and their own faith to lift their arms up and believe that their church will be raised from the ashes.
He thought that by burning a building down, he could get rid of a church.
Saturday evening, the Grapevine Fellowship Church was gutted by a raging inferno.
And God will rebuild, and it'll come out better than it has ever been before.
Now, the rebuilding process has already begun as over 100 people gather in the church parking lot, braving the heat to carry on their Sunday services.
It hurts. You know, there's some tears and it hurts, but it's actually pulling us all together a whole lot more. We're becoming stronger and not pulled apart, but stronger.
Look at this charred mess. This is all that is left of the church. Behind me here, this is the roof. Underneath, these are the chairs set up for the service. They're the only things holding up these shingles. Now, they say that it was a problem with the air conditioner, but the good news is they have insurance. And although the donation box is full of ash, they are already recovering valuables.
That the Spirit of the Lord is alive and well in Las Vegas.
Say the fire has sparked a feeling of hope and renewal and has brought them even closer together.
It strengthens our
our group, our community, and our faith as well, because we're going to rebuild bigger and better, and it's a renewal instead of a disaster.
Pastors come and pastors go, buildings come and buildings go, and the church goes forward.
Saturday night services.
Little more than just an hour later, that church was gone. Fire all but destroyed the Grapevine Fellowship Church last night. The fire started on the roof with a faulty air conditioner. Crews tried desperately to save that building, but the flames were just too thick. And today, Sunday services went on. Worshipers sang and prayed in the parking lot of that church. Grapevine's pastor and the church members have vowed to rebuild.
And the church is not a building, the church is not a pastor or a structure, the church is the people of God, our relationship with God and our relationship with each other, our relationship with the world. We gather together, we don't need a building to worship in. It's a nice, convenient, it's a facility, that's what it is.
During the service, Clark County firefighters were still on scene, and now next week services will be held at Grapevine's sister